Hello all. So let's start with rabbits in the forest problem. So it's a really simple problem. Oh, might be in the easy category, but it's in a medium category. But let's focus. So it's there is a forest of with unknown number of rabbits. So we asked n rabbits in general that how many rabbits have the same color as you. So for example, we just went to the forest and asked the first rabbit that how many other rabbits, right, have same color as you, and collected the answers in an array. So understanding a problem, it's a bit tricky, but it's easy if you focus. So for example, we went to the first rabbit and we asked him. So he said one. So it will be like there is one other rabbit which looks like same or has the same color, right? And at the end, what we have to do is we have to return the minimum number of rabbits that could be there in the forest. So we have to return minimum. And in order to do that, what we will do, let's understand the problem here, that we asked the first rabbit and he said there is one rabbit which is of the same color. And let's say the rabbit said the color is red. Okay, it's of red color. So it means there are two rabbits of red color. Okay, so there is R1 and R2, two rabbits of red color. Now let's say I went to the next rabbit and he also said there is just one rabbit of as of me. So we, since we have to find the minimum number of rabbits, so here we can also consider some other color. Let's say it said it was a blue color, right? And there are two more rabbits with color of blue. Okay, we can do that. But rather than doing this, because we were asked to return the minimum number of rabbits, right? And that's why what we will do, let's say we asked the first rabbit and it says there is one more rabbit like him of the same color. So there will be two rabbits of red color, correct? So this two rabbits of red color, and now I am asking this rabbit, and it also says there is one more like this, like me. So can we consider that the other rabbit was this one? Because this also means that there is one more rabbit like him, and they both belong to the same group of red, correct? So total until now, after asking two rabbits, total number of rabbits are two, R1 and R2, and they both belong to the same group. Okay, so this is the group. Now we went to one more rabbit and asked him, and he said two. So in total there are, let's say it was a blue category, so in total there are three rabbits. So let's write R3, R4 and R5, because it said there are two other rabbits like him. So in total there are three rabbits, right? So in total we have two rabbits in this group and three rabbits in this group, and at the end we have 5 as our answer. So you can see the explanation here, that is what I explained. So since we have to return the smallest possible numbers, therefore it's 5, right? It's explained in some different language, but overall the idea is the same. Let's see the second example. It says 10, 10 and 10. So let's do that again. What mean by 10, 10 and 10? So we asked three rabbits and everyone said 10, 10, 10. So we asked first rabbit and he said, let's say it's of red color. So he will say there are 11 rabbits. Okay, R1, R2, R3 up till R11 rabbits which belongs to red color. Now we went to other rabbit. He also said there are 10 others like me. So that rabbit can be one of those 11, right? And even went to third rabbit and it can be also one of those 11. Here we exhausted after two, and that's why we need to have a third group. But here we are not exhausted until we are reaching the 10, right? Because we can have other 10 as the option, correct? So in total, how many rabbits will be there here? Just 11. And that's why the answer is 11. Correct? You can see. So this is a greedy approach that we have to consider here. So there is nothing like brute force or anything. There can be other ways as well. But the most greedy that comes to the mind is that let's have a hash map, because we need the frequency count. For example, let's say I am again consider example 1. So 1 occurs twice. Okay, so two rabbits are there who said 1 and 2 occur once, correct? So how can we utilize this hash map? Because we will later see other things as well, but how can we utilize this hash map? Okay, or let's come back to this later. Let's consider a really simple example, 2, 2 and 2 again. So what we will do, let's say we ask the first rabbit and it says there are two others like me. So in total there are three, and let's say it's again, assume it's a red color, so it will be three, right? Now we ask the second rabbit, and let's say that second rabbit was this R2. First rabbit was this R1 who said there are two others like me. Second rabbit was this R2 who said there are two others like me, which is R1 and R3. And we asked the third rabbit, and that also said there are two others like me, which is R1 and R2 in this case. So all this belongs to just one group of red. And so here the answer should be 3. But what if I change it to this thing? Then there will be a twist. Let's say we ask the first rabbit. It said there are two others like me. So in total we are 3. We went to second rabbit and let's say it was R2. So there are two others like him. We went to third and it said there are two others like me. But now we went to 4. We are out of all this, right? We asked already this 3 rabbits. So we need to consider one more group now. And that group will be different color, of course. And let's say it's blue. So this rabbit will be, let's say R4, and it said there are two others like him. So in total it will be 6. So what we have to do is just consider how many times this thing occurs. Like 2 occurs 4 times, right? So what you have to do, we have to firstly make the groups, that how many groups are possible based on this. So how many groups are possible here? 2 groups are possible, correct? For this example there are 2 groups possible. And how we'll calculate that 2? 2 will be, and we already know in each group there will be 3. Okay, so it's like we have 4 elements and we have to group them into groups. Okay, minimum number of groups possible, but in each group we know that there will be three people. In each group there will be 3 people, and we in total we are 4 people. So obviously we will need 2 groups, and that's why we need 2 groups. So how we will calculate that 2 here? It should be simply, if I, as I said, we will use hash map. So either 2 occur 4 times, right? So how we will calculate that? It will be simply whatever is my how many times it's repeating. So it's like 4 times it's repeating, and in each group there will be 3 members. So whatever is this value, just make +1 to it. Okay, so it will be 3. So let's say this is our key and this is our value. What we have to do in order to find group? So firstly I'm finding the group. So in order to find group, just make whatever is my key in my dictionary and +1 to it. Okay, and obviously the numerator will be whatever is the value. So this is how we can calculate number of groups. Number of groups can be calculated by this formula. I hope it's intuitive. And now the task is to calculate the number of rabbits. Now how each group contains how many? Each group contains 3 rabbits here. So whatever is the key value, +1 to it. So we just multiply. How many rabbits? Key +1 again. So let's go back to this thing. So again we will see that we 1 occurs twice. Okay, and we know there's 5 is the answer for this. So let's apply that formula here directly, that how it's gonna work. So coming to this, how many group are possible for this case? So it will be whatever is my value +1. So value is 2 + 1, so denominator will be 3 and numerator will be 1, correct? But what we have to do here, if you will notice, 4/3 will be some point value, some float value, right? But since there is something beyond 1, so it means we need 2 groups, at least 2 groups, right, to group this. And that's why we will take a ceiling function in mathematics. Okay, so here in order to calculate group, we will take ceiling function, because there can't be half a group, because if we are getting something after decimal point, then that should be in a different group. That's what it indicates, and that's why we will need that ceiling function. So what we will do is just apply this formula here, that whatever is my value, so my value is 2 in this case, divide by what is the key? Key is 1, and each group contains 1 plus 1, so 2, and we have to take the ceiling function of it. So it should be 2 by 2, which is 1, and we know that this just belongs to one group, red, and in each group contains how much? Key plus 1, which will be 1 plus 1, so 2 into 1 is 2. So total number of rabbits just for this case will be 2. We know this will be 2 from our intuition. Now let's move towards this 2. So it's like we have to find just firstly the denominator is just go back to this formula, that key plus 1, so whatever is the key, it's 2, so 2 plus 1 is 3, and numerator is the value, so value is 1, and we have to take the ceiling function first. So 1 by 3, its ceiling function will give 1 as the answer, and how much will be there in each group? It should be key plus 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3, so it should be 3, so total will be 3 plus this 2, so in total it will be 3 plus 2, that is 5. Okay, so it is that simple, nothing much, just a greedy approach. So we'll quickly code it out. So let's have the hash map or the frequency map, and we will use the inbuilt counter. So it will simply calculate hash map. Let me show you, if you don't get it, how it looks like. Let's print it. So you can see 1 occurs twice and 2 occurred once. Okay, now just iterate over this hash map for both keys and values. So for key comma value in my hash map dot items, obviously we have to initialize rabbits. This will be our answer. We'll just increment every time in our rabbits. So rabbits plus or equals to, obviously we have to use the ceiling function, so I can use numpy for this. So firstly it should be np.ceiling function of what should be the numerator, again just check, should be the value, and denominator should be key plus 1. So whatever is my value, it should be divided by key plus 1, and just multiply this whatever we are getting with key plus 1, and simply return rabbits. Let's rerun. Okay, it's giving float, so I think we have to take integer of it at the end. I mean, it can be handled in a different way as well, but that also works. Just typecast it to integer and it works. And what will be the space and time? Since we are iterating over the end, so firstly we have to create the hash map, so it will take O of n space in worst case, and again we are iterating over all the elements in the hash map, so O of n plus O of n, so at the end in total it should be O of n will be linear. And space, since we are utilizing hash map, right? Okay, it's showing the server is busy, but let me write in the comments. So time complexity should be O of n plus O of n. First one O of n for generating the hash map, and other for iterating over the hash map. So in total it should be O of 2n, but in worst case it's still O of n. Constant doesn't matter. And space, since we are using an extra space to store the values in the hash map, so in worst case, let's say if nothing is repeating, then we have to store all the n values. That's why it should be O of n. So that was really a simple problem. So stay tuned and keep learning. Thank you.